Hi everyone, myself Danusha. Today I am going to tell a story about the bird of happiness. Let's begin. A long time ago, a little boy called Igor lived with his mother and father in a small house which was made of wood. Igor's family was very poor. His father was a woodcutter and his mother made clothes for rich people in the city. Their house was in the middle of large forest in the north of Russia. In summer, the days were long and the forest was alive with the sounds of birds singing to each other. Igor's father taught in the names of different birds, and the boy soon knew all these songs. But in winter, the days were very short and there was snow everywhere. The forest became quiet because the birds left to spend the winter months in warmer countries. One winter, Igor became well. His mother made special food and drink for him, but he only got worse. The doctor from the city came to see Igor and spent some time talking with the boy and looking at him. Then he spoke with Igor's mother and father. He is very ill, but I don't know what's wrong with him. This winter, many young children all over country are becoming ill and dying and nobody knows why. I'm sorry, but there's nothing that I can do to help. Give him lots of good things to eat and make sure that he gets lot of sleep. During the next days, Igor got worse. He became iller and iller. He spent all day in bed and became bored with his toys. His father bought him little things from the forest to try make him forget that he was ill, but he was not interested in anything. His face became white and he didn't want to eat. Sometimes at night he had a fever and then he dreamed that he was flying above the forest, looking at his family's little house far below him. One morning, after a bad night, Hugo woke up and found his father looking at him. Is there anything that you want? Father asked. Yes, there's father, said Igor. I miss the songs of birds. Would you catch a bird and put it in a cage for me? If you put the cage above my bed, I can listen to the birds singing and remember the sounds of forest. Of course, little Igor, said his father, smiling. I will bring you your bird tomorrow. I will bring you a bird tomorrow. But he knew that now it was winter, there is no birds in forest. This was the only thing that his son wanted and he did not give it to him. Perhaps you would make him a bird out of wood, said Igor's mother. He would use one of those things pieces of wood that we usually burns on the fire. It was a cold, snowy day and the forest trees were hard to cut, but all day when he was working, Hugo's father thought about how to make his son a bird out of wood. Of course, it will never sing, he said to himself, but perhaps if it's very beautiful, little Igor will like it as just the same. After dinner, the night he started making the bird, the first few times that he tried were not good. Then finished the birds were all too fat and too heavy to fly. He put them to his bird in hands of which was a middle of the night and outside more snow was falling. Then he suddenly said to himself, I know the bird needs to be just two pieces of wood. If I cut the wood carefully, the bird can have real feathers. First he took a piece of wood for the head, body and tail. He began with the tails and cutting the hood into feathers with his right hand. Then with his left hand he smoothed out the feathers. When he was happy with the tail, he took some more wood for the wings. He cut them out carefully. It all took 100 times because sometime the feathers broke and he had to start again. But in the end of finished it while the sun was beginning to come up, the shouted the bird to his wife. It's beautiful, she said, but it's not ready yet. She took a needle and some thread and carefully sewed the ends of the tail feathers and using the feathers together. Soon the feathers were all together just like a real bird. Then she tied a long thread to the middle of the bird back. This way they would hang it above Igor's bed. They looked at the bird together. Now that is ready, said the wood cutter. I will take into the little Igor's room. Igor was asleep very quietly. The father hung the bird above the bag. They stood back and looked at it. The bird turned slowly on its thread. The woodcutter went happily to his bed to rest after a long night's work. Later that morning he went back into Hugo's room. The bird was turning slowly above Igor's head. He saw was turning the bird carefully. There was a light in his eyes for the first time in many weeks. It's beautiful, father, said Igor. Thank you. But I have together never seen a bird like before in the forest. What it is called? That's good question. I will find out and tell you later. The next morning when the woodcutter went to his son's room, he found that the boy sitting up in bed trying to touch the bird. The last time that Igor sat up in bed was many weeks ago. He thought, so what's it called, father? The boy asked. I'm still not sure, his father replied. That night, Igor's father went to his son's room and he quietly made the thread a little shorter. The bird was hanging a little higher above Igor's head. 3 days later, the father found Igor kneeling on the bed trying to touch the bird. His hand was very near to it. Have you decided on the name of my bird, father? Igor asked. Not yet, my son. I will tell you later, his father replied. Again his father went at night into his son's room and put a bird little higher. Few days later, Igor was standing on the bed and nearly touching the bird. Father, help me, I want to make it to go around, he said. Go on trying, it's not as high as you think, replied his father. And when you will tell me its name very soon, my son, replied the father. 7 days later, Igor's father was cutting wood when he heard strange sound coming from the house. He ran quickly to his son's bedroom. Igor was jumping up and down on his bed, laughing. Above his head, the bird was going around very fast. Look, father, I've touched the bird, shouted Igor happily. Now please tell me what its name. It's called the bird of happiness, his father replied, and his mother standing at the door smiled to see her young son so full of life once more. Thank you.